Lakeview. Last week in our formation moment, we talked about silence. I hope this last week you've been able to find moments of time where you've been able to engage and appreciate silence and maybe experience the freedom it can bring. Today, I want to talk about a kind of prayer that helps us enter into silence in a more intentional way. It's called centering prayer. I'm going to give you some simple instructions on how to do it, but this video is going to be a short one because I want you to spend the time you would have watching it to actually practice this prayer. Centering prayer is a way of praying that helps us to engage silence, solitude, and stillness. It's a way of praying without words, where we offer ourselves completely to the presence of God. The point of centering prayer is to sit in the presence of God. But the potential fruits of centering prayer are that we begin to see and experience freedom from some of the things we are too attached to and that don't allow us to live freely in the world. Our need for security and control and affection. It's not an easy practice for most of us, but it's a good one. And once you feel like you know what you're doing, go and try it. Because learning about prayer, but not doing it, is kind of like having a gym membership, but not using it. The experience of doing it is vital. In fact, it's the point. The first thing that we engage when we do centering prayer is solitude. So, find a place in your house where you can be by yourself and where you're pretty sure you're not going to be interrupted. Then we engage stillness. So, find a comfortable place to sit and a comfortable way to sit so you won't be fidgeting. But don't lay down because that's not engaging stillness, that's falling asleep. So a comfortable spot where your posture is upright and you're able to engage stillness. And finally, we engage silence. So find a place that's quiet, where there's not a lot of noise, and again, where you don't think you'll be interrupted. But last week we talked about there being silence out there, but also silence in here. So we also need a way to still the chitter chatter in our own minds, and this is the way we do it. We decide on a sacred word that helps us to center our thoughts and remain in the present moment in front of God. That word for you might be love, or any kind of word that brings you back to the presence of God. I often use the word peace. Then, set your alarm for however long you're going to practice this prayer. I suggest that if you've never tried it before, you might just try 5 minutes, work your way up to 10. But most practitioners of this prayer suggest that when you get good at it, a good practice is to do it twice a day for 20 minutes. So, set your alarm. Get yourself engaged in solitude, in stillness, and then let yourself sink into the present moment and enter the silence. Now, what you're going to find as you do that is that the chitter chatter starts. Your brain starts to get active. And every time your thoughts try to pull you out of the present moment, just return to your sacred word. Return to the presence of God with you right in this moment. You might end up saying your sacred word once every second for the first little while you practice this prayer. That's okay. You're allowed to do that. So as you engage silence, solitude, and stillness, just be aware that your chitter chatter, your progression of thought is just flowing by you like a stream. You're just letting it flow by you. And if every once in a while a sticky thought comes along that you want to just engage and sort of ruminate on, bring yourself back to the moment with your sacred word. That's all you do for all of the minutes that you want to practice this silent prayer. And then when your alarm goes off, just quietly let yourself come out of the stillness and the silence and go about your day. The fruits of this prayer often show themselves in our day-to-day life. So you might want to start journaling about the changes that you see or the ways that you see this prayer helping you to disengage from certain actions you might have held on to before. But it's best to commit to this prayer over time to really experience the ways that it can free us and help us to live in God's presence. If you want to learn more about centering prayer, we've provided some resources on the spiritual formation page. Check them out. See you next week.